morning, class. I am Miss Jessa Divaring, your instructor in Physics 102.1 Waves and Optics. Before we proceed our laboratory, I will check first your attendance. So, all of you are present. Okay, very good. So, how's your day, class? Okay, alright, feeling good. So, do you have idea what is our laboratory for today? Alright. Our laboratory for today is all about transferring charges by rubbing. We have learning objectives. At the end of the experimentation, the students will be able to determine how to transfer electric charges by rubbing. Next is materials. 2 plastic ballpen case. Okay, 2 plastic ballpen case. Next is 2 similar pieces of cellophane with surface area of 6 centimeter squared. Next is 2 similar pieces of plastic sheet. Next, 2 strings of glass rod. Next is 1 plastic comb. Next is 1 piece of silk cloth. Class, it should be silk. Okay. Next is 1 silk thread. Next is tiny bits of dry paper. We have tiny bits of dry paper. Before we proceed, we should first determine our procedure and observations for your activity. First procedure is suspend one of each of the pairs of materials that you have gathered by trying each with a piece of silk thread. Second is rub each of the suspended materials with cloth. Also, rub their matching papers with the cloth. Now, bring the second object of the suspended pair, glass to glass, plastic to plastic, cellophane to cellophane, and observe closely. Third is repeat step 2. This time, bringing a rub object near each of the suspended objects other than its pair. Glass to plastic. Next is cellophane to glass, cellophane to plastic. Third procedure. In table 1, list all pairs of objects that attract each other and all pairs that repel each other. Fifth, rub a plastic comb with a piece of cloth and bring the rub end near small bits of paper. Then, observe class. 6. Record all observations in table 1 below. Write your observations for step 2 in the space marked 2 and your observations in step 3 in the rest of the spaces. Your answer on the table is attract or repel. So we have a table, class. Then this table you should mark as a attract or repel. For example, plastic ballpen case, the plastic ballpen case. If you rub the plastic ballpen case and plastic ballpen case, what will happen? Is it repel or attract? Okay? You should complete the table, class. After the table, Please answer the analysis of results. First is, can you lift up the small bits of paper with the plastic comb? Second is, what force is counteracting the attractive force of gravity on the pieces of paper? Next is, explain how a negatively charged plastic material can attract an uncharged bits of paper. Fourth, what happens to electrons in any charging process? Fifth is your generalization or your conclusions for the activity. What generalization can you draw from the observations? Write at least 2. Okay, I will show you a short video for the activity so that you have any idea how to participate in this laboratory.
Charging by rubbing, effective rubbing. We all know that a plastic comb, when rubbed with dry hair, acquires charge. It can attract objects. When a plastic refill is rubbed with polythene, it acquires small electric charge. Therefore, the process of acquiring small amount of electric charge is charging. The objects which acquire the charge are called as charged objects.
Lab activity. Aim: to find the effects of charged bodies which have been rubbed by various materials. Material required: a ball pen refill, a balloon, plain paper, a comb, a steel spoon, polythene sheet, woolen cloth, an eraser, etc. Procedure: take some objects like refill, inflated balloon, comb, etc. and rub the objects against materials listed in the table. In each case, bring the rubbed object near small pieces of paper and note whether they attract pieces of paper or not, and record the observations in the table by writing yes or no. Refill rubbed against materials like plain paper, attract pieces of paper, polythene sheet, attract pieces of paper, and woolen cloth, attract pieces of paper. Inflated balloon rubbed against dry hair, attract pieces of paper. Polythene sheet, attract pieces of paper. And woolen cloth, also attract pieces of paper.
The object is comb. Plain paper is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is comb. Polythene sheet is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is comb. Woolen cloth is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is eraser. Dry hair is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is eraser. Polythene sheet is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is eraser. Woolen cloth is the material used for rubbing. It attracts the pieces of paper. The object is steel spoon. Plain paper is the material used for rubbing. It does not attract the pieces of paper. The object is steel spoon. Polythene sheet is the material used for rubbing. It does not attract the pieces of paper. The object is steel spoon. Woolen cloth is the material used for rubbing. It does not attract the pieces of paper. Here, some objects like refill, comb, eraser and inflated balloon, when rubbed with some specific materials, are able to attract light objects, like bits of paper. But some objects like steel spoon do not attract pieces of paper, even after rubbing.
So, since you've done watching the video I'll show you, I hope you got an idea, and I hope for this activity, please do your job class as a student and pass it on time. Class should be, this activity is graded, and I hope all your members are participate. Then after this activity, one of your leader are present here in front to present your activity. Okay class, so that's all. By the way, for your assignment for the next meeting, I will show please make a summary about your activity. I hope you understand and enjoy this laboratory class. Thank you and God bless everyone.